Hi, I'm Sherry Youngward. Welcome to the Quiet Place podcast. This is a place for you to come up for air anytime, day or night, and find a quiet moment of replenishment and rest. I am so glad you are here. If you would like to hear about upcoming gatherings, new music, and online women's events, which I offer once a month, please join my email list. Also, if you'd like to help support this podcast through a one-time gift or through the gift exchange, which is a monthly support option where I in turn send you a monthly gift, thank you so much. Every little bit helps, it really, really does. You can do all these things at sherryyoungward.com. Thanks again. We have been in a series called The Restore Project, inspired by Psalm 23, and this is the last session of the series. I looked at this psalm through the eyes of a sometime songwriter and an all-the-time human who has found and continues finding much treasure in this psalm. You are welcome to listen to this series in any order. This episode is dedicated to the deep divers. Session 9, The Fuel of Perseverance. You know how when you skip a rock, it leaves little rings in the water where it skimmed over? Well, this episode is going to be a skim over themes and things we looked at over the course of this series. Maybe you'll hear something you want to revisit or missed altogether. Fun fact, I love skipping rocks. I will end with the song The Lord is My Shepherd, which is Psalm 23 in its entirety. It's also the third song I've written, inspired by Psalm 23. Well, I only wrote the music. David wrote the words. Episode 174 was an introduction to the series. I read from 3 friends what Psalm 23 brought to mind. Jordan shared a memory from when she was 18 years old. Here's part of what she wrote. When a Bible study teacher said, "Until we know and believe the good news that the Lord is our shepherd," she said, "we can't truly understand the rest of the psalm." Thanks, Jordan. As I've gone through Psalm 23, personally and slowly, I have learned this to be true, maybe even more than when I started out. Here's an excerpt from episode 175, Where Only God Sees. I have stood on the edge of breathtaking views and had no peace at all. Peace on the inside and peace on the outside isn't my everyday life. Traffic is outside my window. Traffic is inside my mind. Trouble is around the world, and trouble is outside my front door. I don't walk through life in a constant state of tranquility. I know this, though. Only God can restore a human soul. Restore my soul. Episode 176, A Gentle Light. I asked you this question. Oh, and you can rest assured, I don't ask you any questions I haven't first asked myself. Here's the question. What do you want to leave behind? Not only at the end of your life, but when you leave a room or a conversation. You may never write a famous song. Your expression of him is unique to you. If you're a welder on a construction site, those around you may not need a bit of poetry. They need you to see them. They need your story. They need to know your source of help. They need the Lord, your shepherd. Episode 177, valuable hours. David was a king, and still he stole away and wrote. I don't know of many writers who can, in one sitting, finish a poem or a page of a book or lyrics to a song. It takes time, often a lot of time and work. And though there is nothing poetic about the process, caring deeply about the message and the person the message is for is the fuel of perseverance. I have a story to tell about what was in my mind when I said that. I'll share it at the end. David cared for the people he led beyond just the physical realm. He tended their souls and spent valuable hours giving language to an unseen kingdom. 178. Jesus in the Antonyms. I read from Ezekiel 34, where we learn what a good shepherd is not. I'll read verse 4. The weak you have not strengthened, nor have you healed those who were sick, nor bound up the broken, nor brought back what was driven away, nor sought what was lost. But with force and cruelty you have ruled them. This description of what a good shepherd is not brings to light who our good shepherd is. God desires the weak strengthened, the broken made whole, those driven away invited and brought back, the lost found, the abused safe, secure, loved, and taught, the scattered gathered, collected, and united. The Lord our shepherd is a seeking and searching God. 179. Symptoms and cures. I have to confess, I was having a hard time when I worked on this one. Psalm 23, though, when read slowly and thoughtfully, is like a stethoscope evaluating our inner well-being. I ended this episode reading through each verse and praying for you in between. I wanted to replicate for you how I was personally ministered to. This might be a good one to revisit, especially when your spirit needs a spiritual chiropractic adjustment. 180. The Human Tapestry. I am deeply grateful that God chose to show both sides of the human tapestry in Scripture, both the messy, tangled side with the mistakes, the sin, the defeat, and doubt, and also the forgiveness, the restoration, patience, and beauty, both light and shadow. Psalm 23 is the beautiful side of the tapestry. It took a lot of messes and heartache to produce such art. Kind of like raising children, I suppose. 181. Salve for the bee sting. In this episode, I confessed how I had tried to sit down to my alone time with God, but my own thoughts invaded like bees at a picnic. I won't retell the whole story, but verse 5 met me in a beautiful way as I remembered tables prepared by my friends and family, and how those memories added layers that I'd never thought about before. Psalm 23, verse 5. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Lord, help us sit still and participate and consume from the table you have prepared for us, no matter what or who surrounds us. And finally, episode 182, Expert of Experts. This is where we looked at the Lord our Shepherd as our guide. I read a description of what makes a good human guide and couldn't help but draw parallels to how the Lord our Shepherd leads and guides us. We are not left to navigate this life on our own. As I have worked on these sessions, they in turn have worked on me in the best of ways. Thank you for joining along, and I hope you'll revisit as you please. I'll be here next week with a new episode for The Quiet Place. Oh, and I had mentioned I had a story in mind when I said, caring deeply about the message and the person the message is for is the fuel of perseverance. The picture in my mind when I said that was when recording the song I'm about to play. I recorded this song with Zach Hodges in a room-turned-studio at his in-laws' house in the middle of summer. We couldn't run the AC, it's too loud. I sang in a closet, and it was stifling in there. But we didn't even consider shutting down. We just sweat and drank water, and I fanned the door open and closed in between recording. We all do what we have to do, don't we? I'm glad David did what he had to do to write this psalm. May he restore your soul again and again. Here is Psalm 23 from the New King James Version in the form of a song. The Lord is my shepherd. He leads me in the paths of righteousness.